Hello everyone, it's me Arden Lee. I'm back today with another video, and today's video is about what do you do when you're trying to be someone's friend and they're being really self-destructive. They're clearly caught in a lot of pain, and they don't appear to actually want help getting better. They appear to be ruled by a lot of emotionality and expecting the rest of the world to make their life better for them. This is another question that was brought up by one of the members of the Repatterning Parlor, which is the Facebook group that I moderate for people who are interested in learning more about repatterning. And they gave some specific details, in terms of, this person making a lot of long Facebook rants about how they don't have a partner, and so they need everyone to come on and tell them that life is still worth living somehow. They get triggered by other people's anniversaries. They get triggered by Valentine's Day, and they're even going so far as to make suicide threats in order to, I don't, as far as I know at least, it seems from what the commenter said that it's, making suicide threats in order to emotionally manipulate people into giving them attention. So how do you be friends with a person like this, right? So that's the topic that we're going to address today. Of course, before I get into that, if you have not yet done so already, I would love to invite you to subscribe to my channel and or like my page, depending on where you are viewing this video at present. And of course, if you're not yet familiar with me or my work, my name is Arden Lee, and I'm the creator of the Repatterning Project. That is an 8-week online course where we bring up all of our patterns for examination. We trace them to their source. We figure out the ways that our beliefs are formed, and then we get to choose, do we want to keep those beliefs? Are they serving us? Or do we want to reinstall new beliefs, new habits, new patterns through conscious awareness of our everyday choices and making new neural pathways, new grooves in our behavior, forming new habits so that we can optimize our paths towards success and happiness, so we can achieve all the goals that we want to achieve. So if that sounds like something that you're into, go ahead and check out the description box to this video, where I have left a link to a free PDF guide about the Repatterning Project, and I also have a link to the Repatterning Parlor, which is the Facebook group that I mentioned that I moderate, which is full of like-minded individuals who are also looking to fast-track their growth to happiness and success. We would love to see you there, so go ahead and click through, and we will welcome you into the fold. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how do you be friends with someone who is acting like this? Honestly, the short answer is, if you're looking to improve your life, you don't. You're not responsible for anyone's happiness. You're not responsible for the way that someone conducts their behavior. You're not responsible for the choices that someone is making for themselves. Now, you may feel empathy toward this person. It sounds like they're in a lot of pain. The thing is, someone really has to want help. And if someone wants your help, I'm a big believer in giving people help and empowering people to make better choices for themselves. But the problem in the past is that the problem that I faced in the past was that there were many times that I was more invested in a person's wellness than they were. I can name friendships that I really tried to have where, I brought people to meditation classes, gave them exercises to do when they were having a panic attack. I really believed that they wanted help, that they were suffering from anxiety and depression, and that they wanted to get better. And in many cases, those friendships didn't last very long because the person didn't really want to get better. What they wanted was to stay in their patterns. And what they wanted was to continue to use their misery as a source of getting more attention and getting more caretaking. And I don't say that lightly. And by lightly, I mean, I don't say that someone is necessarily just being completely consciously manipulative of what they're doing. If that were suggested to a person doing that, they would be horrified, naturally. But ultimately, you need to judge a person by the actions that they're taking. And if someone is not prioritizing going to therapy, or finding ways of being happy. If you try to help them and actually give them something actionable to do to start getting better, and they don't do it, then you know that what they want is not to actually get better. Someone who is really in a place to make real change will move mountains in order to feel better. And I know, because I've done it myself, and I know because I've facilitated it for other people. When people are really ready to make that leap, they won't let things stand in their way. They will, they will find the money to invest in themselves. They will find the free time. They will find ways around their limitations. They will start changing the language that they're using. They'll say, yeah, you know what? When I use words or phrases like this, when I talk down about myself, it really isn't good for me. I'm going to start at the very least. If someone doesn't at least change their language, because you guys, language is free. free speech, literally. It doesn't cost you anything to change your language. If someone isn't at the very least willing to start changing their language around what they're calling in, what they're manifesting, if they don't realize, that the things that they're speaking into existence are taking root, and if they don't start to at least change the way that they're talking about themselves and the world around them, then I truly question their willingness to actually change. And what I realized for myself when I had some of these friendships where I was really trying to help other people is I thought that I was being altruistic. I thought I was being generous. I thought I was being kind. And sure, maybe on some level I was. But after a while, when I was met with so much resistance, I realized that staying in this pattern of trying to help someone who was a few steps behind me and seeming unwilling to catch up with me was actually just a way of holding myself back. That's pretty big, right? I realized that I was congratulating myself for being several steps ahead of this person. And it was one of those things where I was measuring the person, the way I was measuring my own growth. It's like, if I'm measuring my own growth against another person who's being resistant, then of course I'm going to come out on top. But when I released my friendships of those variety and said, I'm now just competing with myself, my growth just really sped off. It really took off in ways that were unprecedented, which I would not have been able to do if I had still been constantly diverting my energy trying to take care of someone who ultimately did not want to improve. When people want to improve, you'll know it. And it sounds cold. It sounds callous when someone is in so much pain that they're to the point of making threats of suicide because they're trying to fill a void in themselves with attention. Or maybe that they're in so much pain that they really are considering suicide, or both of those things at the same time. But ultimately, that person has to really want help. And you can try and say to them, hey, I'm here for you. I want to help you, but I want to know what's actually going to make it better. What are you doing to improve the circumstances of your life? If they can't name anything that they're doing, you guys, there are so many people in this world who have had so much horrific trauma happen to them, so much horrible, horrible pain in their lives. And, I'm one of them. I'm not gonna compete for a title or anything. That's not the point. But we really have to ask that person, okay, yes, I see you. I acknowledge all the pain and suffering that you're going through, and what's your next step? What are you going to do about it? You don't have to have the whole complete answer today, but what are your next steps? What are you going to do to heal? Are you just going to be like, oh, I can't change. Oh, it's everyone else's fault. Oh, my past this, my past that, my trauma this, my trauma that. Okay, yes, all of those things. What are you going to do now? Ball's in your court. Do you need help? Do you need me to help you sit here and find a therapist? Because, I can sit with you and I can help you look up on the internet. If that feels too overwhelming, I can help you do that, right? Are you going to go? Are you going to come back 2 weeks later and say, no, I quit, I was smarter than them? You know? You'll know it when people want help. And if you divert so much of your energy trying to help someone who is clearly in pain but doesn't want to change their situation, then you're not going to be able to use that energy to help yourself. And you're not going to be able to use that energy to help other people who also need help, you know, who want to be able to change. And the only way you're going to get to that place is if you do it for yourself first, so you can be the lighthouse, right? If I had stayed invested in that friendship from several years ago, where I was so desperately attached to another person's healing, I wanted it more than they did even. I was so invested. I went so far out of my way to make this person feel loved and welcomed and at home, and to give them the tools that had worked for me. I was like, man, I wish someone had done that for me when I was that age, you know, when I was trapped in an abusive relationship, when I was undergoing so much trauma. I wish someone had helped me out of that pit. I'd like to do it for this person in return. And none of what I did made any difference. And when it started to make a difference, when that person started to notice that they were feeling better, that they were actually experiencing changes, and that they were going to have to let go of all the ways that they liked to use their pain and anxiety and trauma to solicit caretaking, they pushed me away because they didn't want it. And my guess is, to the person who asked this question in the parlor, that's what happened. What would happen with this person eventually too, is that they don't want to get better until they actually want to get better. And your time is better spent working on yourself so that you can get to that place where you can help other people who do want to get better. Because the amount of change that I have now facilitated in people's lives, even in just the past year, that I've really emerged from my own cocoon and said, okay, I did my healing, I feel better, I'm ready now to teach other people what I did. It's been less than a year. And if I were still invested, if I had still chosen to be invested in friendships like that years ago, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be in this place now. I would be way held back on my own personal healing journey. And I wouldn't have been able to get to this place where I can make videos every day for people. You know, if you want to help someone, you know, send them my channel. Send them my channel, and if they're willing to watch a bunch of videos and actually start implementing the things that we discuss here, if they really need help, you know, there's so much help available. But something tells me that that's not what they want, because if it was what they wanted, they would be doing it already. And it's really on you to ask yourself, why do you want to be friends with this person? Is it because you think you should, out of the goodness of your heart? You know, you want to be the lighthouse, not the life raft. Don't throw yourself overboard to save someone. Be on the shore and shine your own light so brightly that other people will find their way home. So ultimately, you really want to look at what is appealing about a friendship with that person to you. What's drawing you there? Because chances are that's a part of yourself that still doesn't want to do the work. That might be a part of yourself that is still in resistance to your own journey. And you're diverting your energy to trying to save this other person who it seems like really doesn't want to be saved. So that's something to think about. All right, thank you guys. Hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.